gonna jump right into drawing right now. We've had technical difficulties, or at least I have, the last few days, and that's mostly because I didn't realize that my tablet doesn't like 3.0 USB ports. It's a Huion problem, but I figured I would talk about the differences in my processes for digital and traditional today. I also have mediums that I use and a little bit about Naruto probably at the end, more specifically Sasuke, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people know quite a bit about him already, so moving on to my topic to start with. As you probably noticed, I work in a lot of layers digitally. This allows me to work in... well, it allows me to do smoother lines so that I can erase a line underneath of another line if I need to. Just focusing for a moment. Or not mix up colors. When I'm putting down my base layers for colors. It's slightly important to me not to do that because I don't like it looking messy and muddy. I do have the goal to finish drawing Sasuke today. Due to my frustrations with not having gotten the line art done in an appropriate amount of time. It bothers me greatly that I didn't figure out what was wrong, so I have goals. Once he's finished, though, that'll be the end of the stream today, as I would like to make dinner and it'll be tasty. Right, I was talking about my digital process. So for my sanity, I'm not going to talk about the realism aspect of my digital drawing. It just would make my life easier, and I'm just going to talk about the style that I'm drawing in today. So to start with, I usually do 3 sketch layers. To start, I draw out the body and the general shape. This often doesn't have any facial features or anything like that until I get a little bit further on. The next layer that I do for my sketch, after I make the body, which is the pose and where the head is and hands where they're located and stuff, after that layer is done, I make it a little bit transparent and I go on to the second layer, which is often clothes, the face, hair, just getting into a little bit more detail. I make that a little bit more transparent, and then I get into another layer of more details, and then I make that transparent and merge it all together. After I'm done that, I move on to my line art, which I'm working on right now while drawing Sasuke. I usually work in 2 to 3 layers for my sketches. Sorry, for my line arts. I know how to speak English. It's my native language, I promise. Yeah, 2 to 3 layers I work with for my line arts. This lets me, as I'm doing right now, make smooth line connections, and then I can, as I've stated earlier, erase bits that I don't need anymore without interfering with other lines and accidentally erasing some of it. Sometimes, though, not all the time, the majority of the time, I will make another sketch layer while I am drawing the line art. And with this, I will do more details in the hands, because I usually leave those until later because I hate drawing hands, but that's not an uncommon issue with most people who draw. They don't like to draw hands. Sometimes, if I need more details, I will, like in a specific part of the outfit, I'll also do this during the line art layer in a new sketch layer. This lets me get patterns in fabric if I want them, or let's say a specific area is a little too messy, then I will do that in a new sketch layer so that I can see what I intended to do, or what I do intend to do in the close future in my line art. Once I have my line art done, you'll probably see it today because I do intend to finish drawing Sasuke. Is my coloring. It's a little bit more complex than it needs to be, but that's okay. I make sure that my line art layer is at the top, and then I put down my base colors. This way, and I do this one color at a time, each on a different layer. And then once I have all my base colors put down, so it's a flat color, nothing looks too fancy yet, I will merge them all together, and then I'll start with my shading. So I do all of my shading in a multiply layer. What I'll do is I'll copy I'll eyedrop the color that I'm working to make a shade for, and I'll use that in the multiply layer, and it allows for a natural shade color for that color without having to do a lot of guesswork into what that shade would be. It just makes life a little bit easier and smoother in the art process. And then I'll do this for one color at a time, each in a different layer. I'll smooth up I'll clean up any lines or anything like that as I go as well. I often forget things and don't realize that something looks wrong until near the very end, so it's always a process to finish and go back, but it's just how I do. But yeah, look at that. We have the line art for Sasuke Uchiha done. I can now go into the coloring process. So I'm going to make my sketch layer disappear and actually do the coloring process like I was talking about. Make sure sketch layers all one layer, and my line art. I'm going to open up a new layer to put down some colors so that I don't have to constantly keep using the reference, and then I can delete the reference. I want oil paint.
I was walking one day when I happened upon an old man. He was sitting on a bench, staring into the distance as if it were endless.
Cool. All right. Goodbye reference.
I smiled politely as I passed.
Delete it.
But his
It's fine.
voice rasped
Oh,
behind
wait,
him.
I didn't grab his eye color.
A voice like his hands,
Oh,
and often
right.
but still sharp with wisdom and concern.
Black. Okay. So, I was talking about how I do my coloring and specifically the shading. So once I have all the shades put down on each individual layer, I will take a blender and blend it out a little bit.
I stopped and turned to face
And this gives it a more natural look. I'll do almost the exact same thing for the lights, where the light hits.
I stood a dozen silent paces from him, but I didn't return to his bench.
Except I will
After
do
a moment of thought, I spoke.
it in a screen layer.
You don't any more than
It
I know what
allows,
you do.
again, for the same thing with the multiply layers, it gives it a natural look. I'll sometimes make this more transparent because it just looks shiny if it's too bright, and sometimes shiny isn't what you're going for unless it's metal or something that is supposed to be shiny. The very last thing I usually do is the eyes. They're a little bit more complex than the rest of the piece, and they're in a much smaller area. But it follows the same method as everything else I've done. But I do an extra layer on top of everything. And what I'll do for this, if I come over here, I'll make the layer an add glow layer, and I'll put a shine over the eyes. And this just gives them a little bit more oomph than they normally would if they were flat color and with the shading and the lighting. It's a reflection. That's the word I'm going for. Hang on, I need a drink of water. Now, the very last thing that I do, the very, very, very last thing, is the background. Now, normally, I don't draw on a completely white background, but this is the style of this challenge, so I'm not changing it right now. Usually I do it in a blue layer. Sometimes I change it dependent if I have a lot of blue in my piece. I did that with my Yaskir drawing. I made it a little bit orange instead of blue. That way I could see his outfit better. But usually the base, the paper color here in Clip Studio Paint, is a light blue or gray blue. Man, there's a faster way to do this. Just gonna do that. There we go. And then because I am not very good at backgrounds, and it is something that I should work on as an artist, is working on backgrounds and being able to draw them more efficiently. I will take the select tool, make a circle, and then fill it in with a color that contrasts with what I have drawn. So for instance, if I had a lot of blue in my work, I would do a slightly orange background or a darker orange background. I do intend with Sasuke not to do that. I wanted to draw some tomatoes in the background. Hopefully it doesn't turn out terribly. And then with that, I'll sign it, and then I'm done for my digital process. I use varying different brushes. Oh man, I forgot to get the color of the bandana. You know what? It's the same color as his clothes now. That's fine. It's fine. It will stand out in his hair. It's fine. Mistakes have been made. It's not the end of the world. Yes, I'm sure. I don't know. Me failing to select a color, I don't think that's going to bring about the end of the world. Oh man. Oh no. Man, I don't think I have that many people watching. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's not in character. I'm wearing shoes at a convention. Okay. nearly done placing all the flat colors for this particular piece. I need a bigger brush. That's what I need. There we go. Just tweak this process a little bit faster. The next thing that I have to talk about is my traditional method. This is a lot simpler to explain. I have a sketchbook. I draw mostly in my sketchbook. I sometimes paint. But for my sake, I'm going to talk about my drawing process, which is nearly identical to my digital drawing process. I draw a sketch, it's messy, it's the body, I lighten it because layers don't exist in a sketchbook in real life. I do. Oh my gosh, there are people watching. Hi! Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, what's character 6 going to be? Okay, so I actually have a list here. So all of the characters I'm drawing are, I am drawing Sasuke, Uncle Iroh from Avatar The Last Airbender, Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order. I'm going to be drawing Seahawk from She-Ra, the reboot. Yes, my roommate, thankfully, I'm sorry. Specifically the reboot. To my understanding, She-Ra on Netflix, they've released the last season. So my one friend is like, draw Seahawk. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll draw him. I'll also be drawing Edward Elric and Mina from My Hero Academia. If they're going to be drawn in that order, I don't know. It's just there. I didn't realize I had people watching. Oh my goodness, this is exciting. Yes, this is a thing that I should do. Not right now. I'll yell at you. Yes, thank you. Oh man, okay. Hair. Okay, the next thing I was going to talk about is, right, I was talking about my traditional process. It's nearly identical, blah, 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 blah. Moving on. I will do a sketch in graphite pencil. I'm not creative. It's usually mechanical pencil, but I have this wonderful, oh, no, I don't want to make a folder. Okay. Crap, I can't remember. I swore. No, don't do that. I have a Stedler pencil that it holds the lead, and I love it. It's amazing. I can't remember what it's called. I don't have it with me. I did not prepare writing down what that pencil was, and nor is it within my vicinity to pick it up and look at. Sometimes I'll do color, but I don't like to. Then I do a liner. I have Sakura Pigma Micron pens. They're a felt tip marker. And I'll do the liner in that sometimes. But recently I've gotten into the Pentel brush pen, and I love it. I need to get better at it, but it's very similar to drawing the line art in... Yes. It is. But yes, it's very similar to drawing a line art in digital medium. And then I have to erase the pencil because you can't just delete it. It doesn't work that way. The next I color it, this depends on the medium I decide to use. Usually it's I draw with pencil crayons. I color with pencil crayons. I use Prismacolor pencil crayons. Sometimes I will use watercolor for my traditional process. Sometimes. I've recently gotten into gouache. It's fun. It's just opaque watercolors. It allows you to go over a darker area with a lighter color, and that lighter color will show up, unlike with watercolors. And you can't do that. It's messy. Okay. That's steady. There we go. I do also paint, but with acrylics, but I don't do that often enough. I'm currently waiting for some open medium to come in the mail, and I'm excited because they finally sent me the shipping number for that. Mediums I use is the next thing. Okay, so I can actually talk about stuff. So digital, obviously, it has a lot of bonuses to using it. I've talked a lot about it already. I don't want to keep talking about it. With acrylic paints, it's different. It's a very fast drying medium to paint with. So within 5 minutes, if you paint lightly enough or thin enough, it'll dry. And that's part of why I'm getting an open medium. So this is something that you can add to your paint. You don't need to add a lot, and it extends the drying time. So instead of 5 minutes, it'll take like 20 to 30, sometimes longer, dependent. And this lets you basically paint like you're using oil paints instead, and it's not toxic, and it doesn't cause fumes. It might smell a little bit like paint, but that's okay. I enjoy the smell of paint. I'm not an expert in watercolors or gouache, not by any measures of the mean, and I do use them occasionally. I know how to paint with them, but that doesn't mean I'm good at painting with them. Yet, my roommate says. It's just a matter of making more art with it and practicing with it. However, watercolor paper is a little bit more expensive than buying a sketchbook, and watercolor sketchbooks are also expensive. So it's a matter of, are you willing to spend money on watercolor paper? And currently I have a stack of it that I'm not using that I should use. Alright, I need to get a metal color. super zoomed in. I need more water. No, I have my bottle right here.
Oh, I thought you meant you
Look at that. No. I'm good. I have a lot of water. Thank you though. Oh. I have a question in the chat. Yeah. A little bit of both. It depends. I am a little bit lazy and I pick one direction for the light source and then I stick with it. I don't do crazy light sources, though it is something I need to practice, so it's probably something that I will touch on later and probably try and do something funky with in the future. It is a potential that I can do. Yes. I do have one one character, excuse me, from She-Ra, Lonnie. I've been asked to draw her, so I'll be drawing her next because she didn't make it into the SixFanart's challenge. But I am more than willing to take on requests for my live streams because sometimes I have difficulties coming up with what to do. So that would be fantastic. If you have any, feel free to make a comment and I will write it down. Alright, we have base colors. Fantastic. I can merge these together now. Is that cool. Time for my shadows. I want multiply. I want my gouache tool. Where should the light be coming from? This way? Yeah. Just... for my sanity, I will be doing more simplistic shading for this challenge meme challenge. I do. Ooh. Alright, I have never heard of this. I will have to definitely look into it. I don't have any note paper to write it down. Give me a moment and I can write it down. I have some... I do. I am semi-prepared. I said semi. Doesn't mean I am. Okay, so I have written down your request. I will definitely draw this character. I'll have to look into it. Maybe you'll get me into something else to watch. We'll find out. Tell me about it in the chat for now, but also, is there any specific poses that you'd like to see? Also, I put my note paper that I have for talking about stuff. Oh, I hit the mic. That's not good. Okay. Ugh. Okay. Where? Oh, there we go. Oh, you can send me a link of a picture. And it has an interesting art style. Well, I'd love to see it. This is a very messy shading. Oh, my roommate says it's popular right now. Adventure type. Oh. They are asking for Yume. What? Ooh. 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 Very interesting. Well, I can't look at it right now, but I will certainly look at it in a moment. I will look at it before I close Twitch, so that it's not lost to an eternity. Just neatening this up. Okay, I'm gonna blend this out. A cool pose from the anime. Okay. Okay, I have the links, so I can look at them momentarily. I do want to get this drawing done today, so I'll look at it when I'm done. For certain. Oh, I should shade his headband. Ah, so we're gonna be watching this together, are we? Let me just fix that. It doesn't look good. Just... Oh, that's the blender. I don't want the blender. It's not good. There we go. Just fix that. Come back here. To this. Alrighty. I have more stuff that I need to talk about. Can you tell me things about it? Yeah, sure. Just no spoilers. We intend to watch this now, so we'd appreciate no spoilers. Oh wow, I'm on to my last page. Oh right, I have stuff to talk about. For painting with acrylic paints, this has nothing to do with the digital drawing that I'm drawing right now, but I was talking about mediums I use. I use gouache. And, wow, wrong word. Gesso. I use gesso for my canvases. So this is good if you get store-bought canvases like I do. And there's glue residue left on canvases usually, and this makes it so that the paint that you're painting with peels off the canvas or just doesn't stay on the canvas at all. Also, if you're working with a wood canvas, this prevents the wood from soaking up all your paint, and then you run out of paint before you can finish your painting. It's from a light novel, a drama novel. Interesting. What, we were watching, what was it, the Overlord anime with the Lich as the main character. That's based off of a light novel series as well, isn't it? Yeah. The series that takes place before Durarara. Bakuno and Durarara also, I probably butchered that, are light novels as well, according to my roommate, and I will take his word for that because he is more knowledgeable than I am. Ooh. No. Alright. Ooh. It's not a multiply layer. That makes so much sense. Okay, there we go. Oh. Even in the most horrible moment, the lighting doesn't become dark and gloomy in the anime, apparently. So you won't get rain for no apparent reason if someone's crying. That's interesting. Oh. I was talking about something. I was talking about gesso. It's good. Use it. A 10 out of 10 recommend. I've never used oil paints a day in my life. Oh, okay, no, that's not a complete lie. I've used it once in high school, and I hated it. I was very impatient in high school, and I didn't like how fast it just took forever to dry. So I haven't touched it since. Maybe I'll use it again, but oils are very expensive. Oh, excuse me. I suppose this is as good a time as any to actually talk about Naruto. Sasuke is not my favorite character. I'm gonna say it. I do see him as an integral part of Team 7. They are a found family trope, and I'm a sucker for found family tropes. That's why when the tuning exams ended and he left, I went, nope, I'm done now. How many animes have I seen? Too many? Well, that's a lie. There's no such thing as too many, but a lot. I've seen Full Metal Alchemist when it first came out, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Katekyo Hitman Reborn is one of my favorites. It is not translated. It's not very popular here in North America, so they haven't bothered. I've watched Orange High School Host Club. Orca 7 back in the day. I'd like to watch that again. There was this one movie I had as a kid. It was from an anime called Gunbastar. And I loved it. It's kind of nostalgic. It's got that old 80s style animation for anime. My Hero Academia is something I've watched a bit of. Man. And now that I've been asked this question, I'm blanking. I should write it down in a My Anime list. That is a good suggestion. Thank you. I will have to do that in the future. That's a lot of anime. But it's not a lot, all at the same time. Alright, yeah. Sasuke is not my favorite character. Looking at my notes. My favorite character is actually Gaara, but that kind of fits in with the I am a sucker for people who get over their traumas in an anime. Case in point, Shoto Todoroki. It's okay, child. I will love you. You don't need your abusive parent anymore. But also, I like a lot more characters than just Sasuke. He's not my least favorite character, but he's not my favorite. I also like Sakura and Tsunade as a few examples. I like how they don't need somebody, or they get over it. Kind of. To my understanding, that isn't completely true. Almost done my shading. Oh, wow. You've been watching a lot of anime in a short period of time. I've been watching anime since middle school, and I don't know if I watched that much. But, you know, with this whole pandemic going on, it leaves people with a lot of free time. Oh, in the anime you've suggested, the characters are not overpowered. Very interesting. My roommate has said that it's almost the opposite of the Seven Deadly Sins, where everyone is overpowered. Also a very mature anime. Seven Deadly Sins, it's mature enough.
Very mature. There's a big difference. Diary.
Future Diary. I don't think I've watched that one.
That's up there.
I mean, I've watched Tokyo Ghoul, which is very bloody anime. Oh. Should use my gouache tool. Okay. If the plot is good, then it should be forgivable if the characters are overpowered. I mean, yeah, if it's good. Oh man, I am getting excited. I can see the end of finishing drawing Sasuke. Oh man, my friend Jordy actually suggested that I draw Sasuke for this challenge. He was one of the first people to comment, so that was through Facebook. Yes. Don't be afraid to follow the rest of my social media. I'm very active on all of them. I do believe I have listed my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram on my stream. Alrighty. Lighting. Let's merge my shadows to my color layer. Make a new layer. Screen. Where is it? There. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Overlay? Nope. Oh dear. We're experimenting now. Light. Nope. Nope. And? Nope. Oh, you know what? I wasn't using my gouache tool. That explains a lot. Let's go back to screen. Duh. Ah, there we go. Problem solved. I'm not that proactive on YouTube. I don't really comment all that much. I'm using Restream for my streaming purposes, so it is streaming to my YouTube, but I don't see the chat there, so yeah. Sometimes I see comments and I'm like, oh, I should reply to that. But Instagram, I'm more active, as well as my Facebook page. Blend that out a little bit. Cool. Okay. Right. The last time I actually watched Naruto was back in middle school. It was a very long time ago. Let's see, how many years ago was that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 years ago? Wow, that was a long time ago. I feel old. But I also remember when Sasuke showed up in this outfit for the first time and being floored. I should make my blender tool bigger. That would help. Here we go. The end is in sight. So close, yet so far. Ah, the comedy. You didn't like that part. I mean, Naruto was a product of its time? Questioning. I honestly, Naruto should have ended at a specific point, and it didn't. And now we're on to watching their children grow up, and it's like, really? Do we need this? Do we need this in our lives? Right, I've got metal, so I'm gonna just this a little bit more transparent, and I'm gonna merge it down, and then I have metal. So I've got to make metal look like metal. And that's very carefully. Focus. Okay. And then we do light. Oh, hang on. Where? Add glow. We'll make it shiny because metal is shiny. Not quite there because hair is in the way, but up here is good. And then blend it out, and the headband is done. Oh yeah. Merge that down, merge that down. Alright, now I'm onto the eyes, the very last thing that I do. Not very last, but last enough. Just come here. Oh, not like that. Okay. That's fair enough. There are animes out there that I don't think I could watch, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The style is very jarring. I guess it's very harsh comic book. Is how I would describe the art style for that. Okay, I don't quite... Okay, let's see if I can find... Total correction, there we go. Hue, saturation. Don't like... Oh, ooh, ooh. Alright, there we go. There we go. That looks better. Alright, Sasuke's eyes are... They are black. They aren't exciting. He has somehow Well, he's an anime character, so he can have unique eye colors and hair all he wants. Oh, I did this on the wrong layer. No, I didn't. Okay. I'm just using the wrong brush. That explains so much. um, what animes have I watched where the style has floored me? Not many. Um, and I'm not good with thinking of things on the spot. This is why I had notes written up for today, and now I'm at the end of my notes, so I'm not talking, and it's terrible. I want multiply layer. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. And then I'm gonna come to the very top, make a new layer. This will be add glow, and then I can add some shine to these eyes. You know what? We'll do this. We'll add a little bit over here. Yeah. Nah, I don't like that. Let's use the oil paintbrush instead. We'll just... I'm going to change this again. I'm going to change the brightness of the eyes a little bit so you can see the shine better. There we go. Alrighty, I can do the background now. Backgrounds are the bane of my existence. I'm not good at them. That's the liner there. Okay, so open up this. I want to draw some tomatoes. Did I grab a reference of tomatoes? No, I did not. They're fairly simple, though, I would think. Excuse me, my throat is very dry. I'm going to drink some water. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. I want big brush. I want red. Oh. Oh, that's very red. Maybe not that brush. Maybe this brush. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw my tomato. Tomatoes are round. This is not quite what I was looking for. Okay. I will use the oil paintbrush. Make the base. This is fine. Oh. I'm trying to learn how to draw as well. Oh, that's very good. I approve. 10 out of 10. You're not good at anatomy. Well, it takes practice. I wasn't good at it when I started either. I have drawings from middle school when I really started to get into it. Heads are way too big. It's fine. It's a process. It's like, it is a learning curve for every artist. I learned from school and self-art, like self-taught, kind of. Books as a kid growing up. I remember buying many how to draw character books. When I bought my first one, I greatly improved. I want this layer to be multiply. The process of learning how to do art was over time, really, and dedication. Literally, you could become a better artist than me by drawing every single day for at least 5 minutes a day, just making art every day. It greatly improves as soon as you do that. I need green. I also attended art school for fine arts. Yes, I did that too. Tracing pictures is a really good way to learn anatomy and stuff like that. Also, it's kind of complimentary to the artist who you are learning from, especially if you like their style. Just so long as you give credit where it's due. I live in Canada, so taking somebody else's artwork and making it out into a completely new artwork, like a small portion of their work is a part of your work, is completely legal. You're allowed to do that. But really asking first is a good idea. I don't recommend breaking your local laws just to make art. There's a long history of that. But I do recommend doing life drawing. There's this site called Line of Action where you can draw people from images, people who have modeled, and you can basically, it will set, you can set a way for it to I didn't copy this, it's just too similar. Yeah. Right, I was talking about Line of Action. So I do recommend Line of Action. Basically, you can do this thing where it has this thing where you can have, when you're setting it up, it says, do you want, this is classroom method. So what it does, you do gestures to start with. So this is really quick lines to show where the body is, but it's not very detailed, and it does that for a certain amount of time. So it'll show you images very short, quick. At most, for gesture drawings, you'll do a minute. I'm drawing a tomato. I should be drawing the tomato. But one of the ways that I improved greatly with anatomy was from attending art school, and they had life drawing classes that we had eventually. And because of that, I improved a lot. So it is something that I recommend to every artist. Then I'm going to do some lighting. For this, I want screen. Because I forgot to donate. There, I think this looks like a tomato. This looks like a tomato, right? I think it looks like a tomato. Maybe a cherry tomato. Alright, merge these layers together. Oh, look at that. Well. Copy paste, friend. There, we have Sasuke with some tomatoes. I'm gonna come back to this layer and I'm gonna move this tomato a little bit. Here we go. And then I can label it. Look at that. I'm done. That's actually part of learning how to draw, is looking at other people's work or looking at just references. Always use references. Always use a reference. Oh my god. Never make anything from scratch. Don't do it. It's become a habit of mine to use a reference now, and if I don't use a reference, I'm like, oh man, that doesn't look good. So I'm gonna label this. And then I can take a screenshot. But I'm done for the day. Woo! I'm just gonna move that so it's more centered. Messy handwriting, but that's okay. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I'm done for the day. It's about 20 minutes early, but that's okay. My throat is starting to get all dry and scratchy from talking so much. It has been for a while, actually. But I look forward to seeing you on the rest of my social media. I'm glad you enjoyed this. That makes me very happy. Stay tuned for Monday, because it's when I start up again. And I will be drawing Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Hopefully I'll see you then. Oh, I'm not allowed to end the stream yet. Yes, what time? I see that. I will be back at 4:30 p.m. EDT, which is Eastern Daylight Time. Yes, and Corbin, my roommate, had to plug his own Twitch. Yeah. We're gonna be doing Drawful. I will be using my dinky phone with my finger for this for that. Yeah, but you're more than welcome to join us. Alright, I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you for coming. Again. What's the time right now? For us, it is 5:54 p.m. 5:44. I'm 10 minutes ahead. That's fine. We are at 5:44 p.m. So at 7... It's about 2 hours from now. An hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to make dinner now.